Hey everybody, JJ here. Bull Boom Bear Bust. It is October 13th. It is Tuesday. Wanted to make a quick video today to touch on some points that I feel are going to be very important here as we head into the end of 2020. We're well into the fourth quarter now of the year, and we expect to see more fireworks, and we expect to see more truth revealed in this financial system and how much of a mess it really is. Now, my last video was one of the worst received and one of the least viewed videos I've ever put out there. It was about credit card balance transfers, and the fact that that was such a non-popular video, both in the thumbs up, thumbs down rating and the number of views, actually is a good sign, because I think most of you know that where we're at now in this economy, in this financial system, it's much more than just finding a low percent interest rate for a few months to transfer your balance to. It's much bigger than that, right? That may help a few people for a short time. It may help you kick the can down the road yourself in your personal finances. But overall, the big picture is this economic system, this economy in general, is a big mess. It's going to be very difficult for many people to thrive, and not only thrive, just to survive in this type of economic system where it's all about stimulus and bailouts and bank liquidity and deregulation and ever increasing amounts of debt. So the fact that that was an unpopular video lets me know that most of you are awake and aware of what's really happening in this economy. Now, maybe on some other channels that would have been a good popular video, but most of my audience, I think, is much more aware of what's really happening. And when I say that we're likely to see fireworks here in the fourth quarter, I think we're going to see a lot of things happen that many of us would not have believed even a year or two ago. Just like the first 3 quarters of 2020, so many things happened that I think most of us here would not have expected. And that's why I say expect the unexpected. Now, I hear some people say, well, how can I expect the unexpected if we don't know what it is? Well, that's why you need to prepare for worst case scenarios. You see, if you prepare for a worst case scenario, you're going to be fine. If you have money put away for a job loss, if you're not overburdened with debt, if you're not in a house that's going to take up 60-70% of your income with your monthly payment. But can you imagine where this economy would be if it were not for the life support? We actually had incomes rise during the shutdown. So during a time when unemployment was at Great Depression levels, income was actually higher on average. With all of the programs, the assistance that was handed out to so many people. The organicprepper.com food shortages simulation predicts 400% increase in food prices by 2030. We told you that inflation is going to really start ramping up here, especially when you have severe declines in production. Look at the farms. We have all these just devastating storms and weather patterns that are decimating so many farms here in the U.S. and across the globe, really. And you combine that with never-ending money printing and just liquidity, just money being pumped into the economy, right? So their solution, I'm talking about the banking system, the money printers, their solution is just printing money, liquefying the banks. Hopefully the banks will lend it out. People can borrow money, and that's going to be a stimulated economy in their opinion. But in the meantime, you have less and less production happening, including in food and farming, and it's a recipe for disaster. Now let's talk about this article. A 400% increase, it sounds like a lot. Well, it is in only 10 years. And essentially what they did in this simulation and in this report they put out is they looked at the trends and the weather patterns and the crop failures and the poverty, and they predict that it's going to get a lot worse. And the solution that they put out there, and who were these people? Well, they were international policymakers, corporate businessmen, academics, and quote-unquote leaders in thought. And their goal was to run a simulation of a world food crisis that would begin in 2020 and run to 2030. And they got together a few years ago at the World Wildlife Fund headquarters in Washington, D.C. Now their conclusion or their solution, what they're saying is the solution, is going to be taxes on meat and a carbon tax. So you notice how the quote-unquote solutions always end up being taxes on the people. All right, do you really think your taxes that you're paying are going towards projects that actually help you? So do you think if we pay more taxes on food or carbon tax, do you think that's going to go towards farms and help create more farms and help these farmers that are basically barely scraping by, many of them, because these farmers are also suffering under the outrageous cost of living created by the money printers? Do you actually think that paying more tax is going to be the solution to the food crisis? I think most of you know the answer to that. PR Newswire right here, 44% of Americans plan to apply for a store credit card this holiday season. That's a big jump from 2019. So here we are getting out, maybe it'll be a second wave that's going to be worse than the first, but here we are 6 months into a shutdown, and we have more people than last year talking about they're going to apply for a store credit card. Right? So people are so programmed that they have to go out and spend money during the holidays. It's almost like you're wired. It's almost like we're robots. We're just wired to, we've got to spend money. We got to give each other gifts. And I don't know what this person wants for a gift, but I'm going to buy something anyway. And then maybe they'll want it or maybe not. Maybe they'll take it back. But see, we're wired to celebrate these holidays. And as far as celebrating the holidays, yeah, go ahead and celebrate. Definitely, I encourage that. Be around family. Do what you love to do. Maybe you'll go to church if you're allowed to. Maybe you'll just be with yourself if you don't have a family, just doing what you like to do, and be thankful for what you have. But sadly, not many people are in a position to celebrate the holidays. There's people on the verge of homelessness. There's people that are homeless. They had to move in with their family members or some other living situation. We know that most millennials now had to move back home with their parents. So yes, nothing wrong with celebrating and being thankful for what you do have, but going out and taking on debt or getting a credit card to try to quote-unquote celebrate the holidays, we need to be very, very careful about that. And to see this many people willing to go out and to open up a store credit card to make purchases, it's pretty scary because the store credit cards are some of the higher interest rate credit cards out there. And we talked about just on our last report, the average interest rate now on a credit card is about 19%. So if you can't pay it off in full every month, you're going to find yourself in big trouble really fast. CNBC article right here, Bank of England asks about readiness for negative interest rates. Folks, this is worldwide. This whole system is based on lower and lower and lower interest rates, which means people can borrow more money to continue the illusion that this is a functional economic system. And with the low mortgage rates recently, we saw record numbers of people go out and refinance so they can continue to stay in their homes. See, people are just continually looking to keep themselves above water, to keep their head from going under. And it's all around the world. We see the Bank of England, they're preparing for negative rates. I think it's going to be not too far in the distant future here in the U.S. for negative rates. But again, something major could happen. There could be some head-spinning policy that gets implemented, massive debt forgiveness. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but there are people out there that are waiting and expecting that to happen. One of my mottos here is always prepare for the worst. There's not going to be some magician to come in and save us. I don't think most of you are expecting that. I know I'm not expecting that. I'm continuing to prepare for the worst. All right, and that means have food put away, have money put away, have assets, hard assets put away in addition to money in case we continue to see our currency get devalued, which a lot of people are saying definitely yes, that's going to happen. A lot of well-known economists are saying that. We see major investors now turn into gold and gold positions and gold miners. But there are many people that continue to put their money into the stock market knowing that there's going to be more stimulus, more Fed puts. The plunge protection team is going to continually come to the rescue. And here's an article here at fxempire.com. U.S. stock market investors buy with confidence, knowing stimulus will come eventually. And I hear from some of you down in comments, you're saying, hey, well, you're missing out on these stock market gains. You need to jump in because the Fed's going to be there. They're going to continually keep the market propped up. And I understand some of you are making good money on this, but I'm telling you, those of you that are really making the gains in the stock market, you're a very, very tiny fraction of the population. You know, it's the people at the top that make the most from this pumping up of this stock market bubble. And we've highlighted it here before. The top 10%, they own about 80% of all stocks. So while there may be a few of you out there that are trading to some success, or maybe even a lot of success, I can guarantee you, you're a very, very small percentage of the population. And unless you're one of the big guys, one of the hedge funds, one of the executives, the insiders, even with successful trading the stock market, you're still likely going to have a very, very difficult time getting by in this environment. Speaking of insiders, article here out of PR Newswire, defense contractors reap the benefits of a growing military budget. So see, if you're connected, then all the money printing really works to your advantage. While most people are out here begging for a stimulus check, the defense contractors, those that are working with the money printers that can create endless amounts of debt out of thin air, well, those are the ones that are doing the best, and those are a lot of the 10% individuals, people in the top 10%, and especially the top 1%. Right, and also they have their getaway bunkers, they have their, in many cases, they have their own islands, and they're going to be just fine when this entire system finally is allowed to fail. Right now, it's already failed. It's just been on life support. So everybody keep preparing. We're not out of the woods. We're just getting started. And this shutdown only revealed the true underlying weakness of most U.S. citizens. And hopefully we can be one of the few that'll make it out of this. And sadly, there's many people that may not even survive this. I think that's going to be that bad. Unless there's a miracle, I'm hoping, I'm praying for something good to happen, some good news, some transformation into a new monetary system. But I'm not overly optimistic that that's going to happen. So I continue to prepare. I think you are too. Thanks for watching this report, everybody. Bye for now.